20. I'm gonna need you to be a little bit more excited too. I didn't expect that at all.
I'm excited when you get excited. I don't know when to get excited, so I'm kind of.
And technically, it is a bestseller, but we want top 10, if
Okay.
not number. We really want number one.
But we live, so I'm.
Oh, let me stop.
It's getting ready, so I think it's picking up. So I'm about to tag you in a second. It's preparing.
Okay, then I'll share.
Preparing live streaming preview. All right, I just tagged you. I'll be right back. Miss Nikki.
This whole situation.
How are you today?
I am awesome. How are you?
Oh, I'm excited. I'm excited. You know, I'm having a party today. I'm celebrating. My book is out on Amazon today. Finally. So I'm excited about that and trying to tell everybody to go get it because somebody told me to make it available for 99 cents. Somebody told me. We're going to figure out who was that who told me to give it away for 99 cents. So
we're not giving it away. We're just making it more available.
Oh, that's right. That's right. So listen, let me
all in how you position it.
That's right. Let me share this in a few other groups and then we'll get started.
Okay.
Gotta tag on my HBCU people.
You're in a group with HBCU people?
Absolutely. I represent HBCUs to the fullest.
What HBCU did you go to?
The Alabama State University. The.
Okay.
Okay. The Alabama State University. The Mighty Marching Hornets.
Not the Mighty Marching Hornets.
Yes.
I didn't even know Hornets could march.
Yeah, we march. We mount up. We march. I was on earlier with Jeffrey Wallace. He's the new CEO of the Greater Black Houston Chamber.
Uh-huh.
He went to Grambling, so you know they always talking trash.
Yeah, we don't know anything about that at Howard.
Okay. Okay.
Nothing about that.
Howard HU.
The real HU.
That's what they say. So my daughter's going to Hampton.
I know.
They HU too. So y'all are the real HU.
We're the real HU, yeah. See, yes.
But y'all don't have no beach or nothing like by y'all, do y'all?
We also don't have a cemetery on campus.
Oh, look, okay. You snappy like that. You can come back? Okay.
Yeah, there's a lot of things we don't have.
Okay.
That's funny.
Well, let's get going. Let's get started. So everybody, hey Felicia Malone, how are you? Adrian Wynn, man, listen, we got to hook up, man. I'm excited about what I heard when we was at the Potter's house and with Bishop. So tell me what's going on, man. What's the next move? I'm excited about what you got going on. Hornets should fly right. So now you got Felicia Malone. You got everybody cracking jokes about the Hornets.
Oh, I have ride or dies. Don't even be concerned. Don't come for me.
That's how you go act.
Oh, I have my ride or dies. Yeah.
No, Hornets, we fly, we march, we win. We have our own TV shows for our band. Yeah, that's how we.
Okay.
That's how we do it.
You're not gonna talk about me and try to get away with it.
Sonya Bird, what's happening? How are you? I called you last week while I was in Houston. Thought I was gonna see you.
Like, I really feel like we're just like sitting in your living room.
That's how I should feel. That's how.
Oh, okay, I put makeup on. I could have gone past all that.
That's the aura of Ramone, the two-man. I want everybody to feel comfortable.
Oh, okay, all right.
Come hang out with me.
Let us not be confused.
Yeah, let's not be stuffy. Let's have a good time. It's a party. It's a house party today.
We are celebrating.
Yes. So everybody, welcome. Oh, okay, Sonya. Your dad was in town. I understand it was Father's Day. I forgot all about it being Father's Day when I did that, but that's all right. All right, so everybody, welcome. I'm glad y'all are tuning in, or y'all go watch this later. Corey Carswell, marketing master in Dallas, Texas. What's up, man? Big Tex. Listen, I'm excited. I'm celebrating all day because my new book, It Takes Two, Who is Helping You Lead, is out today officially. It's on Amazon. You can go get it right now, the book, or you can get the ebook because it is 99 cents today only. So download it right now as you're watching me, as you're watching this. Share this video today because I'm excited. I decided to have a house party of sorts since the HU graduate has told me it feels like so I decided I wanted to celebrate with some amazing people all day long today, people that I respect, people that I admire, people who understand the concept of leading in various genres, whether it's in business, whether it's in corporate America, whether it's in nonprofit, whether it's in ministry, whether it's they lead a team, whether they are a lead artist, singer, producer, whatever you are. So I wanted to take today and just, number one, honor people. I want to talk to people that I really like and feel like they're good people. So I've been doing that all day, promoting this book that's available on Amazon. But right now, I am excited. I'm honored. I'm blessed. I'm humbled that I have the privilege of sharing screen time with the fabulous Nikki Woods.
I was like, are we going to get all the sound effects and all that stuff going on?
It's a party now. It's a party now. So for everybody that don't know, Nikki, thank you for taking time, and you really been behind me this last couple of weeks or months or whatever, and just kind of spent the weekend with me. So introduce yourself to the people.
Well, I think I'm officially your two-man now, or at least one of them.
Come on, that's right. That's right. I need help. Help me lead.
That is so funny. So my name is Nikki Woods, and for those of you who are not familiar with me, I am the CEO of Nikki Woods Media. But I am most, I guess, known for my work in radio and TV. I was in radio and TV for 20 years. My last position was with the Joyner morning show. And I resigned from that about a year and a half ago so that I could work with people who had, my hair is really bothering me, so you have to.
That's all right.
Work with people who really had messages and things that they wanted to convey, and just information that everybody needed. And I really wanted to work with them to help them get that message out. Thus, my number 2 role with Ramone, who has a phenomenal, message on leadership and how you can really play your position and still feel valued. And so I'm just honored to be here with you. And can I just say, I am so proud of you.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So let's just kind of go back. Let's dig into who is Nikki. And so I know what you do and the value you're bringing to my life, but tell me the journey, like where are you from? How did you know media was your thing? Where'd you go to school? Like, just talk to me about the young Nikki coming up and figuring out who you were going to be.
Right. You know what? I think it's interesting. I mean, I think that, we do all sorts of things, as we grow up, and we have all sorts of loves and we have all sorts of likes. And I think that, we don't spend enough time like really trying to figure out what our passion is. And I know it's early, but, everybody told me, oh, you love kids, you should go to school, you should, be in education, you should be a teacher. And, I really... My sister has jokes. She's on watching. She's like, yeah, who is Nikki?
Stacey Jones, that's your sister?
Stacey Jones is my sister.
Okay.
And my big sister. I always have to say that.
Hey, big sis.
Yeah. So, so I went into education. That's what I started out doing. And I just knew, like, the first day I knew that was not, loving kids and being in a classroom with 30 of them for 8 hours is 2 different things. And even though I went through, I was I did student teaching, you still don't get the full weight of like the politics and that sort of thing. And I don't even know why. I just woke up one day and I think I really want to do broadcasting. It wasn't radio in the beginning, but I really wanted to be a journalist. And, so I went back to school. I got my degree in journalism, did the whole 9. I started out in sports. I worked at a local CBS affiliate in St. Louis. St. Louis is where I'm from. And, did some, I did some radio, but it was news radio, but I really love sports. And then I went to ESPN briefly. And I was like, okay, this is not what I want to do either. Like, I don't want to go into locker rooms. I don't want to. I don't want to do it. I don't want to be just the cute chick on the sideline. I wanted to really, do things that mattered. And I didn't really like television because it's so visual, and you would talk about somebody being murdered. And then you would, walk down the street and people would be like, girl, where'd you get them shoes? I saw them shoes you had on when you was on TV. And I was like, about the dead person? You'd be like, talk about that.
Okay.
And so a friend of mine called. He was working in Boston. He was like, my co-host is going on vacation. Why don't you come sit in? And he was doing morning radio. And I mean, the instant I like sat in that chair and they turned the microphone on, like I was in love. Like radio to me is just one of the best ways to communicate with a large group of people. I mean, it's extremely intimate. It feels like, like just like with you today, we're sitting in a living room, just having a conversation. People don't know what you look like. They don't know what you have on. And it's just really us having a conversation. And I was in radio ever since. I did mornings in Boston for about a year. And then I went to Chicago. I did mornings in Chicago for 10 years. And then Tom called and I came and I worked with him as his producer, but I was still on air in Chicago every day for 8 years. And so it just has been a phenomenal career. I've absolutely loved it. And I'm glad that I have been able to, in some regards, still be a big piece of it, but also help others leverage it to build what they're trying to do.
Awesome. Stacey Jones. Hey, Damon Burns, what's going on? Corey Carswell, my man Mario White at Joyner morning show. Okay.
Oh, hey, Mario. Mario is a phenomenal production dude. Like, he is amazing with Tom. He works with Tom directly in the mornings, and he chops stuff up and puts it back together. He's amazing.
Okay.
I haven't talked to Mario in like a year and a half since I left. So, hey, Mario.
Wow. So, for people who don't know, so an executive producer or a producer of a show, like, what does that entail? Like, what do you do as a producer of a radio or TV show or whatever?
Well, it's a little different with Tom. So I can tell you what a producer does, and then you have to like kind of put it on steroids, and then you have what I did with Tom.
Okay.
So, I mean, a producer really is like responsible. We're like the CEO of the show in essence, and we really are responsible for how all of the parts come together. You have to have a great team because obviously the producer doesn't do everything. But as far as making sure everything gets done on time, everything is ready to go. If, you know, Tom had a specific request, you know, that all of that came together. But with Tom, because Tom was so big, I mean, Tom was, 8 million listeners. When I left, we were in 143 cities because he owned his own show, which most people don't do. And he had all of these other entities like, the Tom Joyner Foundation that benefited HBCUs. He had Black America Web. He had all of this stuff going on. And so beyond just help, being the producer for the show, and I had other people that produced with me, but beyond that, I also was the liaison between all of these different, entities. And I think it's interesting because when you talk about like the number 2 person, and I really want you to talk about that and explain that. When I was with Tom, I was like the number 2 person for like 2 different sides. So I was Tom's number 2, but then I also was the company's number 2 when it came to the show. And it was a very interesting position to be in because often Tom and the company did not necessarily want the same things. And so it was a fine balance. And one of the things that I love, and I told you this a little bit earlier, one of the things that I love about this book is I knew what I did, but I didn't know there was like a name for it. Like I didn't know that that being a number 2 person was really a thing. And I certainly didn't know that there was somebody who spoke to how to be a better one or how to be one in the first place. But at the reverse side of that, what I also love is that you speak to the leaders, you speak to the Toms, and you speak to the CEOs, and you speak to all of them about how to not only choose a number 2, but to develop a number 2 and also to grow a number 2 and appreciate a number 2. And so I'm super excited about this book.
Well, thank you. Johnny O'Connor, hey man, how's the political campaign and career going? So yeah, y'all, so It Takes Two, who is helping you lead. Nikki, you just set it up and kind of explained what it was and what I'm talking about, but it's available today on Amazon, amazon.com. Hey, Shantae, Romy. You can go get it today, 99 cents, download it. The ebook is available so you can read it at the gym, wherever you go. So yeah, Nikki, so this idea of It Takes Two, the 2-man. So I've been a 2-man for years, and even the company that I started is a 2-man company. And when I say that, a 2-man is someone, a male or female, a company, a consultant or a manager, anyone who comes alongside of someone else to help another person's vision become a reality. You're doing that with your company. So I think your company is a 2-man company. But the concept is you can't do it by yourself, no matter what. I don't care if it's in business, if it's in ministry, if it's in sports, if it's in the media side of things, and just in life in general. You can't do it by yourself. You can start something. I had Shantae Hawkins on, business strategist, a little while ago, and I've had Jeffrey Wallace on, and he's the CEO from the Greater Houston Black Chamber of Commerce. And they can tell you that it doesn't matter if their name is in the headlines. They're really a sum of their team, the other people who make them look good. And so I just began to study that. And then I looked at, I'm a big basketball fan. The playoffs, the finals just ended. So I was looking at this conversation, and everybody's arguing now about LeBron. Is he the GOAT? Is it LeBron or is it Jordan or Kobe or these people? And I was looking at Michael Jordan never won until Scottie Pippen kind of came into his own. And it wasn't just Scottie Pippen, the average guy, because Detroit was whooping their butt for years when Scottie was the average guy. But when Scottie said, okay, this is my role, and I'm going to be great at my role. I'm going to be a Hall of Famer myself. When he got to that level, Jordan started winning championships. And so I looked at that in sports, and I said, you know what? If you go in business, you can talk about Steve Jobs, I can talk about Steve Wozniak. You can talk about Bill Gates.
Yeah.
I can talk about Paul Allen. And you can just go down the line of every great leader. Great dictators even had a great chief of staff or someone who kind of did the dirty work for them. And so I studied that, and that was kind of my life. And so I wanted to write about it, and that's where kind of the concept came from. But you speak, when I reached out to you, and thank you, Shantae Hawkins, for connecting us. I got another sister for life in Nikki Woods. But when you first heard me talk about it, what was your initial thoughts when I kind of shared, like, hey, this is the book, I need your help? What did you initially think? And did you see it as a avenue for it to kind of stand in this whole business leadership genre conversation?
You know what? I didn't, quite honestly.
Okay.
I you explained the concept, and I got this concept, and like I said, because I've been a number two like all of my career. Like, I mean, and I love being in that position. And so that's when I was like, oh, this is a thing. But then I didn't realize, as I said, like how it's just not being spoken to at all. And so then when I started to think about it, and I started to think about all of the challenges and the joys that I had as a number two person, how I could have really benefited from the knowledge that you share in this book in my roles. But then also, like, I could have given them to a couple of the people that I was the number two person too, so that they could learn their thing. I mean, I think I've had some great leaders overall, but then I've had some that weren't so great. And I think that people, have misconceptions about what a number two person is. And I think that they devalue the role because they think that if it's not the number one, then they're not a winner, or they're not the most valuable. And we always used to say around Tom, and it's the same thing. I mean, your name doesn't have to be on the company, but for Tom, we always used to say, like, our name isn't in the jingle, but we're all part of a team. And that's why I love sports for kids growing up, whether you want to play professionally or not. It teaches you how to be a part of a team. And if done right, especially, at the really young age, before it really starts to get competitive, you really should walk away feeling like every person contributed to whatever win that there is, and that every role is valuable. And I've always been very secure in that. Like, I've never, been, you have to really, I think to a certain degree, check your ego. Because it's not about you, it's about the team. And then realize just how valuable your position is. I mean, when you talk about branding, I would when I talk about it, I would tell people, I realize like how valuable Tom's brand is to me. I mean, obviously it did wonders, but I also realized how valuable my brand was to him. And so whether or not, I'm the fly jock or I'm the superstar, my position, he couldn't have done that without me. And I'm clear on that.
Yeah.
And that's the way that everybody should feel. And I don't think that they do. I think that they feel that the number two spot is just, kind of where you're waiting until you can be number one. Right. But for me, to me, it's like a ministry. To me, it's something that I take quite, good pride in, for Tom to say some of the things that he said about me, and to know what we've accomplished, and for him to give credit to not just me, but the entire team. I take pride in that. And so I think that, with this book, you really are allowing people to own the value in the number two position where they might not have before.
Yeah. So one of the chapters, I believe it's chapter 9, I believe. Chapter 8. It's a title called "What About Me? The Challenges of Being a Two." And so this whole idea of what about me? So you were the two. You were the behind the scenes brains making things happen for Tom Joyner. Mm-hmm. But how were you able to still get fulfillment outside of pushing Tom's brand and vision? Because I followed you for years, even though I didn't know you. I've seen you do a lot of other things outside of Tom Joyner. But how were you able to find fulfillment and passion and excitement outside of his brand for you? Because I think that's a lot of the challenges sometimes. It's like, well, if I'm going to help Nikki Woods blow up, what about my dreams? What about the stuff that I'm passionate about? How are you able to keep pushing him up, but at the same time have your own identity and your own other things that you were doing?
Well, I think it's just being clear on who you are and what you're passionate about. I think that, and knowing that whatever, and I think that and this is where we get into, leaders that really want their people to grow. I mean, Tom recognized that the bigger my brand got, the bigger his brand got. So everything that I did really added to what he was doing. And so, they gave me not free reign because, we were a company and you had certain guidelines, but I had a lot of flexibility to really build my brand. And I knew what I was passionate about. And, can I tell you that it's just a lot of hard work? I mean, it's a lot of hard work. I mean, it's a lot of sleepless nights. And if I tell people my schedule and they're like, I'm a single mom. I have 2 kids. They were babies when we first started with Tom. They're older now, but they were kindergarten and first grade when we first started with Tom. And I was a single mom that had just moved from Chicago. We had no support system. I was up every morning at 2:45 because Tom was going to call me at 3. And I wanted to sound awake, like I knew what I was doing. We went to work, and because I was technically a manager, normally most people, when you're on air, you got like a 4-hour shift. So you do 4 hours and then you go home, but not as a manager. You do 8 hours like everybody else, but then you also have to prepare for the next day. So I literally worked all the time. And so, I'd go get my kids from school. I'd make them dinner. We'd sit at the table. We'd all work together. And so it was a lot of sacrifice. But when you have something inside of you that you have to do whatever it takes in order for it to come to fruition. But going, and I digress, but going back to my point, I mean, hopefully you find a leader that encourages you to follow your dream, because what happens if they don't is that you become disgruntled and you become frustrated and you become miserable, and that directly impacts the job that you're going to do for them.
Absolutely. My number one, my pastor, Dr. Darius Daniels, he's a part of this book too, and he wrote the foreword, and we did a chapter, the final chapter, where we're going back and forth, giving a perspective from a one to this whole subject matter. Mm-hmm. And that's one of the things he talked about, was like, he has to be very secure in himself as a leader to have a great 2 like me on his team, or any leader has to be very secure to let me shine, to let me do what I do. Let me do it the best way I do it, because it's going to benefit him and it's going to benefit our organization. So I think, right to your point, the one has to say, yeah, I want you to shine because I want you. Now, I know you did it so well. I'm going to go to a couple of comments here. Then I come back to it. Shantae says, the number one isn't great without a strong team of 2s. Zandra Grant, hey, she said, it's not about me, but it's about helping people hurting through divorce. Okay, so I think that's how she's helping other people. Felicia Malone says, definitely must check the ego and do your absolute best. So again, it's like, yeah, if Tom supports you, he benefits.
Absolutely.
Or at some point, you're gonna feel like, okay, you're squeezing me too tight and I have to breathe, and so I have to do my own thing. Now, I know I think I heard the story at the book release in Houston, like you put in your resignation and he sent it back to you.
Oh, he was like, no, he didn't accept it for 2 weeks. I was like, well, I don't think it works like that. But you know what I think, and I think it's interesting, because I do think that there's a caveat to that, because you want to grow your number 2s, but you do it knowing that at one point they may leave.
Yeah.
They may have to go somewhere else. And I think that, that's another place where you're and you use such a great word for it, but the number 1s have to be healthy enough to be disappointed, but to be open to that.
Yeah.
And I think that with Tom, I got the disappointment all at one time, but then I got the joy all at one time too. And I think he recognized, I think that, when somebody has big dreams, and we've all worked for, most leaders are big visionaries and they have big dreams, and they respect other people that have big dreams. And sometimes you have to let them go and fulfill that. but it still is a credit to them as a leader that they were able to grow you and develop you and really shape your future. I mean, Tom's imprint is all over me. His imprint is all over my family. I mean, the one thing that I loved about working for him was that my children got to see, you know, this black man from Birmingham who all he wanted to do was talk on the radio, and eventually bought his own show. And, you know, now they're sitting on his private jet. You know what I mean? So it just I mean, like I said, his imprint was all over our family. And so there's no denying how he has shaped me. But that's got to be good enough for them. You know what I mean? They can't hold you. And I mean, unfortunately, that's just the realities of being a good leader.
Yeah. And one of the things I think a leader is always developing other leaders. Like Tom, I'm sure, take great pride and joy when he see you doing what you do out across the world, and you're helping other people do some of the things that you helped him do. And and now, because it's almost like, you know, if you went to Howard University, I went to Alabama State, but it's like the school being proud of what it produced. Like for you to go out and say, I went to HU and you represented HU, they trained you and reared you up to be successful. And I think a great leader should always feel that way. Whether I'm with you for 10 years or whatever, you should get pride out of saying, okay, I poured myself into this person. And now that they're doing their own thing, or they, you know, got their own brand. And I love you, and I love the honor that you always give back to Tom, because I've seen a lot of two people don't do that, and they don't even realize they're cursing themselves by doing it.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about that, like, because every time I hear you talk, you always lift up Tom, but you've seen people who've left Tom and unfortunately they weren't successful. And I talk about that from a different lens in the book, but how have you seen that happen?
Well, I mean, I think it's just being grateful for every opportunity for growth. Because I've also talked about how challenging it can be with some of these big visionaries. I mean, I think that people who have big dreams and, you know, carry a big organization on their shoulders, I mean, it's extremely stressful. And so I think that it's not always sunshine and roses by any means, you know, and so there can be challenging moments. And so, you know, you absolutely will have those. But I think because I do have so much respect for him, and he had so much respect for me, that we were able to work through those because we both saw the good of the company. But I wouldn't be, you know, it's like I look at every situation, and I just wouldn't be who I am if I hadn't been in Tom's presence, if I hadn't watched him and learned from him. And he really was just amazing at letting people do what they do. Like he would always say, and I had heard it before, but I mean, Tom would always say, you know, he just let everybody, he wanted everybody to be in their lane. He wanted Sybil to be the smart one. He wanted Jay to be the funny one. He wanted me to be the organized, you know, he wanted everybody to stay in their lane and just be great there. Like be great there, because if everybody is great in their lane, then the product is amazing. And he was just like the orchestra. It's like he would point and then everybody would do their thing, and it was just like this beautiful melody. And I appreciate that he took so much time to pour in to not just me, but the community and everybody else. I mean, it takes a big person to shine the light on others. When you're a leader. I heard something today, and I thought about you, but they were talking about how leaders lead from behind, how like really great leaders, they lead from behind. Like they're steering stuff, you know, they've got the vision, they know what's supposed to happen, but they let everybody else in front just do their thing because they're not worried about not getting accolades. They're just worried because they want the vision to come to life.
And that's the essence of the book. So everybody that's watching, what you hearing us talk about, it is everything that's in my book, It Takes Two, Who Is Helping You Lead, available today on Amazon. You can download the ebook for 99 cents today. You can get the book. It's a great book. I think if you're leading anything, you should get this book. If you're supporting someone else's vision, and you're working for someone else, I think it's a great book for you. Just life principle. I was talking to somebody the other day, and she got the book and she was reading, and she said, "Oh, this is so helping me when I choose who I want in my life, like from a relationship standpoint,
Yes.
because I talk about certain qualities to look for when you
Yes.
hiring somebody. But I think when you in a relationship, you hiring people. You're
absolutely are. And I've had people tell me they don't want to be like I guess because of what I do, they don't want to be the number two.
Yeah.
And even though that's not what I want either, but I mean, I guess they had some perception of what it was going to be like to be in a relationship. And so you really do, have to choose them. But I do want to say this before we keep going, because you're going to keep glossing over this and I'm not going to allow you. Okay. But the ebook, the Kindle version, is available for 99 cents. We're really only going to leave it there for a limited time. So you absolutely should go get it right now. If you think of anybody who's about to start a business or who is about to graduate from college or who just graduated from college, this is a great book to have as they start to develop their skills. But you, sir, because this book is so phenomenal, are already on the best-selling list.
Oh,
so you have already cracked. I know you didn't check, but I would check because that's what I do.
I don't even care about this
stuff.
So,
yeah, I do. That's what I like, numbers. And that's an awesome number, but we want the number one spot. So we want to keep pushing it. So you guys take a few minutes, go now, share this video to your page, tell everybody. But I did want to bring up that point before you left it, is that just as an entrepreneur, as you're starting to build your business, and a lot of us start where it's just us, and we really don't have a team, but to really get clear on what it means to be a leader, I think would be an amazing thing. And this book certainly will help you to start thinking about who you are as a leader, what your qualities are, what you need, so that when you start to finally grow your team and you hire your number two person, how they're best going to be able to assist you in the growth of your business.
Yeah. So, Nikki, as we go turn and kind of get ready to transition, other people joining the party all day, but I want you to tell people, because you said this earlier, you said you're my two-man now, but tell us what you do, because I was introduced to you, like I said, I've watched you from afar for years, and so I followed the Time Joyner Morning Show. I've been at the show. I've seen you in so many different places, but I didn't really know what you did for people like me, or authors, or people who are trying to develop a brand. So tell people what do you do as a media strategist? Like what do you help your clients do?
Well, the bottom line is I help them get visibility, because obviously nothing is going to be successful if you don't have eyes on whatever it is that you're doing. So I help with media strategy, meaning that I'm going to put together your media plan. We're going to look at different media outlets and see what works best. We're going to work on messaging. But my unique value proposition in this whole world of, podcasts and online media and all of that is that I really know traditional media. And so we use all of these different tools. Like you've been quoted in magazines, you've been on podcasts, you've been on traditional radio, you've been on online radio. All of these things really work to build the visibility. I mean, you've probably gotten, I would say probably close to 4 million eyes on what you've done. So that's great for the book. And I think we're seeing some of those results, but it's even better for the brand. And for me, I really don't like pushing just one. I don't like event marketing. I like authority marketing. So I want you to be the go-to person when people talk about business leadership and how do they develop their number two person. I want, Ramone Harper to be the first person that pops up in Google. And so that's what I do. So we put together the plan. We look at different media outlets. We book interviews. We write articles. We do all of that to get the visibility that you need to be successful in whatever it is that you're doing.
Yeah. Well, Nikki, you are great. And I'm not just saying that. Like, people know me. Like, I'm in the business field of ministry. Like, when I do what I do, they call me an executioner. Because I'm two lanes. I'm gonna execute the vision for my clients, and I'm gonna execute those who are hindrances to that. So I'm
execute the nonsense.
Yeah, I'm a no nonsense type guy. I don't waste words. I don't say stuff to flatter people. And I don't have to say it. But I feel like, man, I am so blessed to have met you. I'm so blessed to be one of your clients. Man, I'm going to scream to the mountaintop if anyone ever says who does your media stuff or who's been helping you, because I had no idea how to do this. I help other people's visions become a reality. And I'm so comfortable in the background. Like I'm ghost. Like I don't have to be out front. Like I move in the shadow. I lead from the shadow. And I'm very clear that I am a boss. I am a leader. But this whole process, it was a little nervous for me, a little nerve-wracking and trying to remember all the stuff that you're saying to do. But man, I'm blessed to know you. Like you are fantastic. You're amazing at what you do.
Thank you. And I really look for people like you because I feel blessed to know you too. I mean, this has been an amazing, journey. Your entire family has been phenomenal. I met a lot of them in Houston, but your wife is lovely and, your kids are great. I mean, it just has been, I love these divine connections. And I think one of the other qualities that I think are great about two men is like when we're in, we're all in. Like there's nothing you can ask me to do that I'm probably going to say no to, because at the end of the day, your win is my win. And so I put everything into the things that I believe in, and I believe in you. And so, yeah, you're not getting rid of me. I'm not going anywhere anytime soon.
No, we got a lot to do. And, I know you've been doing a lot, even helping like nonprofits, and people know that I started turning dreams into realities with a lot of my fellow HBCU alums. And we got this nonprofit that's going, and, we've been able to, through our own money, almost, I think we're close to about $100,000 given away in scholarships and mentoring. And so we're getting ready to take that to the next level and really look at some national partnerships. And so, no, I need you. We need you, man. Everybody, if you are serious about your author, you're trying to build a brand, you got something that you're doing, you need to reach out to Nikki Woods, which, by the way, how can they find you? How can they read about your company? Man, your e-blast, your video stuff, like you teach people, like you're a trainer.
I do. I mean, and the other part of like the media is I love to just train. You don't have to necessarily hire me to do it for you, even though that would be great too, but I want you to be able to do it. Yeah. So even if, it's not always something, I call it a luxury item. It's not, the first thing that you think of that you need. And so, but there are things that you can do before you get to me. That are going to be very helpful too. So I love the training. I mean, even though I didn't stay I didn't stay in the education field, I'm still a teacher at heart. And I want everybody to have the tools to be successful. And I don't want price to be a barrier. And so I give away a lot of free education. You can follow me everywhere. You can link with me here on Facebook, or you can go check out my website at nikkywoodsmedia.com. But you will find a lot of resources that will be very helpful to getting visibility for your business.
All right. So tell us just real quick, and I want to go because I got
you got a lineup.
I got Omega Psi Phi representative Carnell Addison, the manager Marcus D. Wiley coming up next. But what can we expect from Nikki Woods? Just kind of coming up soon. Like what should we be looking for outside of what you do for your clients?
You know what? That's what my focus is. That really is what my focus is right now. I mean, I'm still, I write a lot of books. I'm still doing that. I think that in 2019, I'll probably, go back to doing, more television. I have some things in the work there that will be, more focused on me than necessarily clients. But right now I am loving what I'm doing. Like I said, I spent 20 years doing something really demanding. So just being able to be home with my kids, and hang out with them and help other people build their business. I'm really happy with where I am right now.
But I saw you like you were at conferences, you was on panels like last.
Oh yeah, I speak all the time, but that's just always what I've done. So yeah, so I speak and I train, I do breakout and panels and I do all of that, but I've done that for 20 years.
Okay.
So this is something that's really new, and this is kind of what's close to me because I really just love I love people that have a message that they know is going to change the world. And if there's anything that I can do to help them get that message out, then that's extremely fulfilling for me.
All right. Well, everybody, thank y'all. This was Miss Nikki Woods. She bad, y'all.
Don't forget to get the book, 99 cents on
Amazon. Go to Amazon right now. Oh, thank you, Felicia. She just got the book. Thank you for getting it.
Felicia
download it right now, Amazon.com. Ebook, 99 cents. Man, everything that's happening for me right now, this lady, this two-man has been making it happen for me. So y'all will see me. I think the Al Rucker show that we did, that's airing in about 16 other cities right now. So it's airing
16 cities.
Today. Yeah, so it's airing today in a couple of places. The Afro Vibes show is airing today. So yeah, it's a good day.
It's a good day.
It's a party. Thank you, Nikki.
You are welcome. Thank you.
All right.
I'm gonna stay on Amazon. I'm gonna stay on these numbers.
Okay. Text me. Tell me when we get to number 1.
I will.
All right.
Love you. Bye.
Bye.